Hey again guys, it's SSR. Today I'm going to be working on a plant/trick arrow controller, and we're going to pretty much pick all the powers, slot them all up, and then we'll talk about why we slotted them and what enhancements we're going to be putting on each one. Also, understand that if you see the powers I picked, feel free to change certain ones like the travel powers and what order you pick your powers at. You know, you're able to choose them at whatever specific order you want, but just make sure you try to keep the slotting and certain travel powers the same if you can. If not, you know, you can always grab a different travel power and try to replace it for the same buffs. Alright, so let's do it. Alright, so I picked all my powers, I put all the slots that I believe we're going to need for whatever power, and I'm going to start by putting the basic buffs that I usually do on health and stamina. You know, we always get our miracles, our numinas, our panacea. And this time, since I don't really have a heal power from any of the powers except for Spirit Tree, but we're not going to take Spirit Tree on this build. Spirit Tree is just going to slow us down even further, and it's not really going to help that much. But once again, the fourth slot on health is going to actually be the sixth slot of the Absorb for preventative medicine. For stamina, the usual. Get that performance shifter proc, and then we're going to put a power transfer in there. Okay, for the first power we're going to start out with Strangler. You don't want Entangle, it's just an Immobilize. You want Strangler for the hold, and we're going to start by putting in a whole bunch of procs in there because this power procs really well. Get all the psychic damage procs, Neuronic, Ghost Widow, and also the smashing damage from Unbreakable Constraint, and for the last one, Apocalypse. Entangle Arrow, you can go ahead and just put an accuracy on there if you want. That's perfectly fine. I like to plus it to +5. Rooted, we're going to go with the ATO set, Superior Will of the Controller. Gonna get all 5 of the enhancements, just the initial 5. We're gonna save the proc for a different power. Okay. Super Jump, I like to get some knockback protection, so I'm going to put some Blessings of the Zephyr, as usual. Some recharge for Hasten. Alright. Now I picked Rooted early because I want some Immobilize pretty early. It's a nice power to have. Seeds of Confusion, we're gonna go with the Coercive Persuasion. Alright, and we're gonna go for 5 slots. Try to not get the recharge. Remember, we're trying to get the proc to go off as many times as we can, so get that last proc in there for the Make It Contagious Confusion. Alright, combat jumping. Let's put the Luck of the Gambler. Look at now, since we're going to start with putting the Luck of the Gambler Global Recharge, go ahead and put it on every other defense powers that you have. Vengeance, Weave, Maneuvers. That should be all 4. Okay. And then, combat jumping, we're going to put Reactive for the Scaling Resistance. For Super Speed, I'm going to add another knockback protection from Blessings of the Zephyr. Skipping Boxing. I'm not really worried about Boxing. Poison Gas Arrow. Now we took that power because it's a little bit of some crowd control, and also it reduces damage that's going to be taken onto you. It works great with your resistance that you're going to be taking for later on, Charged Armor and Tough. So go ahead and put a purple set. Fortunata Hypnosis. That's the one we're going to use for this. Alright. We're going to go with everything but the Placate. I don't think that Placate's very good, so I'm skipping that. Vines. We're going to actually put Superior Entombs. Get yourself some extra defense and an Absorb proc. We're going to skip the accuracy hold because by the end of this, Vines is going to have an amazing amount of accuracy, so you really don't need the extra accuracy on it. Right now it's already at 107, so once we get everything slotted up and powered up, it's going to be good. Acid Arrow, we're actually going to proc it out. We'll start with a Nucleolus at 53. Go ahead and put an Achilles Heel for the negative resistance. Negative damage, put to the Lady Grey. And let's put some other damage in there, like bombardment, fire damage, the lethal damage from Javelin. And positron energy damage. Alright. Now the proc rate isn't gonna be anything amazing, 47%, but for an AoE, it's okay. You're gonna hit enough people where it's good enough. Okay. For tough, we're gonna go with Unbreakable Guards. Now remember, you want to get that Unbreakable Guard proc in there. So make sure you get that max HP, because we want to chase as much HP when we're squishy like a controller. Okay, 1606 is their health cap. You want to try to get it at cap. Tough, we're going to go with the resistance and defense. Should bring you up a little bit. Okay. Oh, let me turn these powers on real quick, just to see how much defense and bonuses we're getting. Alright, after tough, we're going to go for weave. We're actually going to slot some shield walls. I'm going to put everything with defense on it. I will not put the proc on weave, because the defense bonus from weave is actually pretty good on a controller. I'm actually going to put the proc on maneuvers. And it doesn't matter what power you put it on. Even if it grays out, you're still going to get the bonuses from shield wall. Alright, so carrying creepers. Let's go ahead and put a gravitational anchor accuracy recharge. Alright, now the reason I'm not using something else like regular IO for just recharge or accuracy, I want to get as many bonuses to make it a little bit better on accuracy and also get a little bit of recharge. I could just do one IO, but it's not going to be useful if I go lower level or something like that. Okay. Let's proc out carrying creepers. I'm actually going to put the one controller, below the controller, ATO, the psionic damage. We're going to put the smash from impedient swiftness, the javelins. Actually, we're going to go for the smashing damage from explosive strike, bombardment for the fire damage, and positron's energy. Alright, carrying creepers is going to proc extremely well. It's 90%. Alright. Even though it has a pretty big radius of 20, it has a weird little thing to it where each pet that comes out gets the proc. Alright, we'll put recharge. Just go ahead and make it +5, because this is pretty much perma. It's a recharge of 14 seconds, duration of 45 seconds, so you can almost have 2 out. You pretty much could have 2 out, but I don't think it allows you to. But anyways, maneuvers. Now this is the one we're going to put the endurance, the defense, and then the proc. For the fly trap, I'm going to have to go with the purple set for the Soulbound Allegiance. Go ahead and put a damage, accuracy damage recharge, and then go ahead and put the build-up proc on there. Why not? Alright, for Oil Slick, this power, people said that it procs pretty well, but after some testing, it actually does not proc very well at all. This is going to be another crowd control type power. We're going to use it and then let the bad guys pretty much get knocked back or knocked down the whole entire time. We're going to slot it with the purple set, Ragnarok's. Go ahead, just put the first 5 sets in there. EMP Arrow, we're actually going to go with Unbreakable Constraint. Do the first 5 enhancements on there. So it's the 5 set. It's okay if you get recharge on it. This power right here is pretty good. It's going to give you some Mez resistances. If you look at that, it goes up on your resistance. And it's going to hold bad guys when you need it the most. Right now there's a bug with it, but there's going to be a patch soon to fix that. Alright, charged armor, we're going to put Gladiator's armor on there. This is the recharge endurance enhancement, and I'm not going to use that one. I'm just putting it there so that I can just change it with the proc. Alright, finally Flash Arrow. We're going to go with Dark Watchers. We're going to slot it with some 2-hit recharge. So there you go. The 4 set for the recharge, recovery, and some hit points. Finally, tactics, we're just going to go ahead and slot it with cytoskeleton at 53. Okay. So, once again, feel free to switch around your powers. Like if you want to get flash arrow at an earlier level, that's perfectly fine. It's just in case if you want to actually have like a little bit more stealth where you use flash arrow and then super speed, and you're pretty good. You know? So, powers are pretty much all slotted up, picked. Everything looks good. Now, your resistance isn't at cap, but if you go ahead and probably just plus one of these, like the Gladiator's armor to 53, it should put you at cap. That's all you gotta do, just plus one of them, or the tough, either or. Most likely charge armor will work better because of the higher base on it. Alright. Yeah, after this, when we get inside, I'm going to pretty much show you guys what powers we're going to use. I have a whole bunch of macros I made to make each power work really well. And we're going to pick our accolades real quick, so we can see what our bonuses are at full. Alright, not too bad. We're at 1430. This with amplifiers should pretty much make you at 1580. Now it'd be nice if you can get closer to cap health, but it's a little bit hard, so I wouldn't worry too much about it, but you're pretty close. That's all that matters. Alright, and then let's pick our Incarnates. So for this build, you have some options, as usual. You can go for Intuition Radial, if you would like. Intuition Radial will give you some hold, some slows, some defense debuff, 2-hit debuff, so that's always awesome. It's up to you if you want that. But I'm more worried about a little bit of the endurance, and if I wanted a little bit more accuracy, I like to go Vigor Radial, or Vigor Core, I should say. Alright, Destiny, for me it's always Incandescence Radial. You can also go, you know, Barrier and Clarion. Probably not so much Clarion because you have EMP Arrow, but Barrier for sure. Ion Core, Hybrid. For this, we're going to be dealing some damage. I'm going to go with Assault Radio. Now, Assault Radio has an awesome power, or this radio version gives you that energy proc damage, which will help to kick off Oil Slick. You need that so you can start attacking with Oil Slick. Also, Interface, Reactive Radio. That one does fire damage, so once again, it'll help with Oil Slick. And finally, for the lore pet, we're going to go Banish Pantheon. Core. Alright, there you have it. Everything's slotted up. Looks pretty good. Let's pretty much go to test server and see how this works out. And I'll show you guys which attacks we're going to be using in what situations. Okay. Alright guys, we're back. And so far, pretty much everything looks the same as my build. The HP is the same, recovery, pretty much the same, endurance use. The only thing I don't have on is if I turn super speed on, it should bring my endurance closer to the same. There you go. Alright. Defense, almost exactly the same. Yeah, well, actually it is the same. And resistance. Now, once again, if I wanted to fix that, all I have to do is just go to Charged Armor, put that one in there. This is the resistance enhancement. And there you go. That should be a capped resistance for the controller. Alright. And my enhancements, pretty much the exact same as the build. And alright, let's go in there and test it out. Now, I made a whole bunch of macros for all these powers down here, the ones that you have to pretty much place in a specific location. You know, like this is carrying creepers. This macro right here makes it so that it spawns carrying creepers either on myself or on the target that I target. So for example, this pet macro right here, I'm going to click it. If I have a target, it's not going to work, and if it's too far. But if I just have myself no target, it's going to summon the pet right here. Alright. Those are power exact location macros. Pretty much start with Flash Arrow. Okay. Put a EMP Arrow right here just to give me some mez protection because these guys do a crap load of mez. And then we're going to cast Contagious Confusion. Seeds of confusion, I should say. And then just go ahead and start using everything. Disruption Arrow, Oil Slick, activate your Immobilize. I tend not to use vines unless I really need to. If there's like a second mob that pops up, everything's gonna get held, so it's probably best to save it for a really dangerous moment. Otherwise, go ahead and cast Carrion Creepers. Carrion Creepers is gonna kill everything for you. But keep that flash arrow going, try to hold the boss as much as you can, and whenever you have the Seeds of Confusion, pop them out. Try to get them, just pretty much the crowd control is going to be Seeds of Confusion. It's going to keep the mobs fighting against each other, and then you can just kill them off slowly one by one. It's a little bit harder with carnies because, you know, they constantly keep going into their face mode. It's very annoying. The bosses are mainly the biggest issue. Once that's over, go ahead and use more Seeds of Confusion. Now, eventually, once they fix EMP Arrow, it's going to hold anything inside of the circle. So, it's going to be a great power to use as soon as they get that fix going. And it should be coming out in the next patch soon. So, it might even be out by the time I put this video. So, feel free to use EMP Arrow. Stay inside of it because you get Mez Protection. It's a great power, honestly. It's just sad that it's not working correctly as it's supposed to. But otherwise, that's pretty much how it's gonna go. Once again, you want to use Flash Arrow. Try to spam that Flash Arrow. So don't expect to kill things too quickly, especially since you're fighting +4s. This is a controller. You don't really have like a ridiculous amount of damage. Disruption Arrow definitely helps you get their resistances down so you can kill faster, but it's going to be still pretty hard to kill very quickly. On a team setting, it's going to go super fast. Alright. So, use Flash Arrow. Contagious. Seeds of Confusion. If you need to, use Vines. Carrion Creepers. Oil Slick. Get everything out there. They're not going to be able to do anything to you. If you need that EMP Arrow, activate it. Keep you Mez protected. If you lose your pet, go ahead and just summon another one. I'll make sure to put the macros down in the description so you guys have them for you. And yeah, there you go. I'm going to try to fight a elite boss and see how it goes as well. I'll show you in just a second. And Entangling Arrow, that's a great power also, the reduced resistance, so feel free to use that along with Disruption Arrow. They're going to go really well together. Okay. Alright guys, so we're at the elite boss. We've got some mobs around it, so it's going to be a little bit interesting. I'm going to start off by first casting Flash Arrow. Then we're going to have to go ahead and put EMP Arrow, just to keep our Mez, if there is any kind of stuns or anything, which we probably won't get with these guys. Alright, once you do that, I'm going to activate Seeds of Confusion. Get them to attack each other. Focus on one another. Summon your pet. If these guys come over here, go ahead and use Vines to hold them in place, you know. That's going to help you out a lot. Carrion Creepers, for sure. Spam Seeds of Confusion as much as possible so that the AV also stays on somebody else. If you can help it, try to hold them in place. Spam that Flash Arrow. Disruption Arrow. Oil Slick. Drop his resistance some more with Entangling Arrow. Alright. Looks pretty good. Spam Acid and also Poison Gas Arrow. That should help you stay alive. Now once again, you don't want to get too close. His melee attacks will probably kill you. Sure, our health is getting pretty low, but you know, it's kind of hard to do that with so many mobs and stuff. But there you have it. It's no problem. In a team setting, you won't have this issue with getting all the aggro, obviously. It's going to be split between all of you guys. Alright guys, hope you liked the build. Let me know if you have any suggestions on how we can improve the build. Maybe take Spirit Tree instead of a different power. And just comment down below, and we'll see what we can do to make it even better than what it was before. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out in the long run, and I'll see you guys next time.